ankle with a circular vamp. Sneakers can be worn with a good pair of jeans, a skirt, a suit, and sometimes to give a good kick to a simple gown. It can be worn to the office, casually, or even to a serious occasion. The last Mama Award in South Africa, some stars, including Lynx, were spotted in lovely, classy sneakers.
I'm wearing a black suit and chucks. No designer.
Besides the fashion statement, sneakers are well recommended for their orthopedic benefit to the knees and ankle. Go ahead, fit the feet in style with just the matching sneakers.
Efficient, economically viable. Correspondent examines the economic benefits of President Buhari's visit to the United States.
Has been driven primarily by the evolving contemporary national security challenges.
Nigerian Air Force kicks off Golden Jubilee in Kaduna.
Kano State Independent Electoral Commission requested for and received from INEC the Kano State Register of Voters.
And INEC says February 10th Kano local government election did not compromise National Voters Register. Good evening and welcome to NTA Network News, reaching you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Ogwa Vivian Onyedibia. And in Lagos is Michael Olaleye. Maria Madura is in our Just studio, and Diba Barisiodo Mangweke is in Port Harcourt. President Muhammadu Buhari this Friday received the envoy of the United Arab Emirates to Nigeria, Mohammed Al Mahmoud, who was on a farewell visit. Congratulating the envoy for a good outing in Nigeria, President Buhari noted that the relationship between both countries has come a long way and highly beneficial. He said Nigeria values the relationship and would work to sustain it. It would be recalled that President Muhammadu Buhari visited the United Arab Emirates in 2016, where both countries entered into bilateral agreements. Well, among the agreements was the one on repatriation of looted funds and assets. And the visit of President Muhammadu Buhari to the United States of America is one that has been described as very successful, with prospects of impacting positively on Nigeria's economy. Leah Katumba Batunde in this report examines the economic takeaways from that visit.
Discussions between President Muhammadu Buhari and his American counterpart Donald Trump centered on three key issues: security and counter-terrorism, trade, and development of democracy in Nigeria.
Our aim...
An American officers who came from across various industries, especially agriculture, digital economy, and increasing value additions to locally produced raw materials. Some of the broad-level business discussions on the sideline included the plan coming of a John Deere tractor assembly plant to produce 10,000 tractors, which will certainly create thousands of jobs in Nigeria. Other new businesses proposed at the meetings included the setting up of consumer products plants by big giants in Nigeria. It was also revealed that ASA's recovery is also getting a major boost. There is a roadmap for the recovery of $500 million of Nigerian stolen assets hidden in the U.S. With Nigeria seeking to achieve human capital development, President Trump brought with him the director of the United States Agency for International Development, USAID. This, the senior special assistant to the president on media and publicity, says is significant to Nigeria, given the fact that the U.S. remains the largest contributor to the ongoing efforts to reconstruct the Northeast and resettle its millions of displaced persons. The U.S. is supporting the humanitarian situation in the Northeast with $500 million through the United Nations and other intergovernmental organizations. On agriculture, President Trump revealed the intention of the United States to open up its market to the Nigerian farmers for mutual exchange of agricultural produce and farm implements. Also, on the table were several investment proposals across the food value chain. Presidential media aide Garba Shehu, who was in Washington, is optimistic the government will smartly work with the current American government as a strategic partner on security, anti-corruption, economic growth, and job creation. Leah Katung Babatunde, NTA News.
Nigerians will continue to experience honest leadership, which may be difficult at the moment, but will be in the long run beneficial to all and the nation. Well, this is the position of Vice President Yemi Osinbajo at the inauguration of the Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises Clinic in Akure, Ondo State. Doris Olumoko reports that the project aims to bridge the gap and encourage MSMEs to be more efficient and capable of competing at international level.
The nationwide micro, small and medium enterprise clinics for viable enterprises is aimed at achieving sustainable growth and development, an initiative of the Office of the Vice President of Nigeria in partnership with the Ministry of Trade and Investment. Ondo State edition, which is the 14th in the series, provided a platform for relevant stakeholders from the government side and business operators to discuss issues affecting setup operations and MSMEs in Nigeria.
Another idea emerging from the clinics is the establishment of shared facilities for small businesses. The idea is that the small businesses that do not have financial capacity to purchase their own equipment should be able to walk into a fully equipped cluster, a facility that has all of the equipment that they may need.
This program underscores the determination of the federal government to drive the country's economy towards self-reliance.
And we want to really beseech them to be deliberate about it, to ensure that those who are already in it, who have a track records of these things, should be encouraged.
Professor Osinbajo said, for the first time in Nigeria, 1.3 trillion naira is being spent on infrastructure at a time when the federal government is earning 60% less than what other previous governments earn.
We are committed to ensuring that this country is not the way that it used to be. And by the grace of God, we will all see the changes that we've been praying for by the honest leadership that we are put in place in this country.
In Akure, Doris Olumoko, NTA News.
And to the power sector now, where issues surrounding the supply, utilization, metering and estimated billing of electricity in Nigeria are challenges with the chairman, Nigeria Electricity Regulatory Commission, is optimistic the reforms in the sector will address soon. Chairman of NEC, Professor James Momo, made this promise while taking the oath of office in Abuja. John Yaku has details.
The supply and distribution of electricity in Nigeria is plagued with challenges such as estimated billing, poor metering and load shedding. To address these challenges, the Electricity Power Sector Reform Act 2005 empowered the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission (NEC) to ensure efficiency in the management of electricity industry to meet the yearnings of Nigerians. The inauguration of the NEC chairman is therefore seen as a step towards addressing some of these nagging issues. Minister of Power, Works and Housing Babatunde Fashola, who said the turnaround of the sector for efficiency is part of the power recovery program of the present administration.
One of the governance issues is the full constitution of the commission with the appointment of the chairman. So again, one item under a list of to-do items under the Power Sector Recovery Program is now completed.
I pledge my commitment and dedication to the service of the motherland, and especially to the power sector of the country, where you have tagged me as a Nigerian showcase in the diaspora.
The NEC was established in 2005 and Professor James Momo is the third substantive chairman of the commission. In Abuja, John Yaku, NTA News.
Moving on now, the Presidential Committee on Prison Decongestion and Reform has called for a social re-engineering of the nation as part of ways to reduce crime and criminality in the country. Well, this is the observation of the chairman of the committee, Justice Ishak Bello, when he led the team to Lagos, Ogun and Ondo states. Judiciary correspondent Femi Okewo was also on the team and now reports.
After visits to about 6 states already, the Presidential Committee on Prisons, Decongestion and Reforms no more goes around trying to confirm the level of congestion of the nation's prisons. That is no more news, even though it is still a fundamental part of its assignment. But the committee is becoming more concerned about the age group, the nature of their offenses, and the extraneous influences such as drugs that push the inmates into their various offenses. That is why Chief Judge of the FCT High Court, Justice Ishak Bello, who is the chairman of the committee, makes a call to the traditional institutions a part of his visit, playing up the roles which the Nigerian traditional institutions and the society generally can play in reducing crime and criminality among the youths.
Your role in cementing cracks, bringing understanding, unity across the nation cannot be overemphasized.
How can we as a government, another well-meaning Nigerians, see what can be done to prevent them from doing these things instead of, as I always tell the purpose of prison is to reform, but some people consider it as a punishment.
It is expected that this partnership will bring more sanity into the society. Femi Okewo, NTA News.
On to security matters now. The Nigerian Air Force has reaffirmed its commitment to revamp its operational efficiency through research and development, fleet reactivation and enhanced professionalism in line with international best practices of airspace security. Air Marshal Sadiq Abubakar said this at the historical photo gallery as part of activities marking the NAF Day celebration in Kaduna. Olajide Bello tells us more.
This might look like a sculpture, but it is not. This is the Bulldog aircraft, one of the early platforms employed by the Nigerian Air Force. This is where it all started, the cradle of the Nigerian Air Force, which now has multiple base institutions with 25 presence across the geopolitical zones of the country. Over the years, the Nigerian Air Force have acquired more sophisticated platforms, which include the Bell 412, Augusta and MI helicopter series, F-79I, Beechcraft KA-350, ATR-42 maritime patrol aircraft, as well as the Super Mishak training aircraft. The Nigerian Air Force, in its 54 years of existence, has taken part in several operations in defense of Nigeria's territorial integrity through effective troops airlift, logistics resupply, medevac, and close air support during Operations Harmony 1-4 conducted in the eastern flank of the country.
These experiences that we have gathered in more than 5 decades have certainly enhanced the development of the Nigerian Air Force.
The need to put in place structures and organizations capable of meeting any unforeseen contingencies.
The day featured photo gallery exhibition, decoration of wings to senior officers and airmen of the aircraft engineering branch, as well as renewal of Memorandum of Understanding between the Nigerian Air Force, 20 universities and research institutes to enhance its research and development base. From the NAV base in Kaduna, Olajide Bello, NTA News.
Well, the peculiarities of contemporary global security and addressing the inherent challenges will occupy inductees of the Nigerian Army War College Course 2 for the next 33 weeks. Commandant of the college, Major General John Enenche, challenged the participants on professionalism and interrogation of assumptions and stereotypes. Ronke Kolawole tells us more.
The Army War College Nigeria is the premier training institution for professional military education in the Nigerian Army. The course is a strategic platform to bridge the gap in the operational and leadership capabilities of the participants and introduce them to the latest technology in the act of war. The commandant gave an appraisal of the performance of the college, which came on board in January this year, describing it as capable of rejigging the entire security apparatus of the Nigerian Army with the availability of facilities which is said are world-class standard. It calls for more professionalism from participants and better understanding on how to manage asymmetric security issues in the 21st century.
It is expected that during your stay here at the college as participants of Course 2, you will not only explore new frontiers of knowledge on the world's new security threats, but also provide feasible strategies to neutralize them.
The 54 participants will be engaged for 33 weeks. The Chief of Army Staff was represented at the inauguration by the Chief of Policy and Plans, Major General Rashid Yusuf. Ronke Kolawole, NTA News.
You're watching NTA Network News. We pause for a break now. The news returns shortly. Stay with us.
Wow, Chief Mike, how are you? Fine. I'm going to Sun office for the certification of my wheat flour.
Oh no, things have changed. Sun has simplified all its activities. You could have even stayed back in Kano and process all your papers online.
Whoa.
With the efforts of Sun, the products of SMEs can now compete globally. Sun has put in place necessary machineries in support of the growth of SMEs. At highly subsidized charges, SMEs can now get their certification, laboratory testing of their products, as well as purchase of standards. Meanwhile, Sun is carrying out massive seizure of substandard goods in the market and have gotten legal backing to prosecute offenders, all to protect consumers and SMEs. Sun, improving life through standards.
The Executive Secretary, National Universities Commission, Professor Abubakar Rashid, invites all pro-chancellors, vice-chancellors, one external member of each council to be selected by the chairman, registrars and bursars of all Nigeria federal universities to a two-day high-level executive retreat themed Elements of Statutory Governance, Procurement and Financial Accounting in Nigerian Universities, to be declared open by the Honorable Minister of Education, Malam Adamu. Date, Tuesday and Wednesday, 8 and 9th May 2018. Time, 9 a.m. Venue, Idris Abdulkadri Auditorium, NUC Secretariat, Abuja. Ibrahim Usman Yakasai, Directorate of Corporate Communications, Announcer.
Take a good look at our world today and you'll discover something interesting. More and more drivers are choosing mobile motor oils. You see, as engine performance becomes more important than ever, the vehicle owners are coming to expect more from their engine oils. They're demanding more mileage on a single oil change. They're demanding longer-lasting engines and smoother rides. They're demanding the best. And with Mobile, that's what they get. We raised the bar for motor oils with the Mobile Super 1000. And with the Mobile One, we raised it even higher. And because it's made using the most advanced engineering processes, Mobile motor oils leave your engine super clean, increase its durability, and keep it so well protected, it never stops running. So if success for you depends on continuous movement, you need engine oil, engineered for that purpose. Mobile, performance at its best.
Make it mobile.
Do you know that the Nigerian police now operates in the best international practices of policing? Do you know that the Nigerian police has been restructured to be more accountable and responsive to all your security challenges? Now, what the police demand from you is your trust, your collaborative efforts by providing necessary information about criminals and their activities in your neighborhood. Be vigilant to achieve our creed as we promise. We shall police the country based on international core values of policing with integrity. We shall ensure that rule of law prevails in our actions and activities. We shall respect diversity, display courage, show compassion, and demonstrate professionalism. We shall operate within the principle of democratic policing. We shall shun corruption, and we shall make Nigeria safer and secured under the leadership of IGP Ibrahim Otum Idris.
Let the wind of change blowing across the country chase away crime for the benefit of our society. Yes, the Nigerian police says this change must come with peace and tranquility.
This message was brought to you by the Public Relations Department of the Nigerian Police Force.
Really glad you're still there. The news continues now. President Muhammadu Buhari is in Daura, Katsina State, on a 3-day official visit. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports that the president arrived Katsina at about 4:30 Friday evening. He was received by high-powered Katsina State government delegation led by Governor Aminu Bello Masari, some members of the National Assembly from Katsina State, and the political class. Well, business community and other well-wishers were also at the airport to welcome the Nigerian leader. While in Daura, President Muhammadu Buhari is expected to participate in the World Congress of the governing All Progressives Congress on Saturday. And sticking to political matters, the APC National Chairman, John Odige Oyegu, has called on the people of Kaduna State to continue to support the party at all levels for uniform development and growth. He stated this at the official flag-off of the party's campaign ahead of council polls in Kaduna State. Ibrahim Gunda reports.
National Chairman of the All Progressive Congress said the change brought by the APC-led government in Kaduna State in all sectors is there for everyone to see. Hence, the need to continue to vote for the party during the forthcoming election.
We promised to invest heavily in education, healthcare, and social welfare. I need to put the answer to you, whether he has done that or not.
Governor Nasir Ahmed El-Rufai of Kaduna State reaffirmed the commitment of his administration to consolidating on his achievements, especially in critical sectors such as health, education, and provision of infrastructure.
The Kaduna State APC team is seeking the people's mandate to run the 23 local governments of our state. We are campaigning on a proud record of achievements.
The flag-off of the campaign and the formal presentation of party flag to new entrants is preparatory to the elections into the 23 local government areas of Kaduna State, scheduled for 12th of this month. In Kaduna, Ibrahim Bello Gunda, NTA News.
The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, says the outcome of the February 10, 2018 Kano State local government election did not in any way compromise the National Register of Voters. Chairman of the Commission, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, disclosed this in Abuja while briefing the media on the findings of the Abubakar Nahuche's investigative panel on the allegations of underage voting at the election. Chukunonso Wambweze has details.
The February 10th, 2018 Kano State local government elections has in the past few months attracted public attention, largely due to some images circulating in the social media alleging underage voting. Knowing the importance of the National Register of Voters on the outcome of elections in Nigeria, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, on the 21st of April this year, set up an investigative panel headed by Abubakar Nahuche to inquire into claims linking the register compiled by the Commission and alleged cases of underage voting in the election conducted by the Kano State Independent Electoral Commission.
Kano State Independent Electoral Commission requested for and received from INEC the Kano State Register of Voters for the election. The register was produced for use in the election. However, the register was only cited in a few polling units. Given that the register was substantially not used to accredit voters before voting, it is logical to conclude that if underage voting occurred in the election, It was not due to any presence of underage registrants on the register of voters.
INEC appealed to Nigerians to work with the Commission in achieving its mandates. In Abuja, Chukwunonsonwa Bueze, NTA News.
And still on politics, arrangements have been concluded for the successful conduct of the All Progressives Congress primary election ahead of the July 14th governorship election in Ekiti State. Ayodeji Ogunshaki reports that 33 aspirants, of which 3 are female, are contesting for the only available slot.
This is the Oluyemika Stadium at Ekiti, venue of the All Progressives Congress primary, slated for tomorrow. Presently, every necessary measure have been put in place to ensure free and fair primary. 33 aspirants that cut across the 3 senatorial districts of the state will be vying for the only one slot in the party ahead of the July 14 governorship election, where 2,618 delegates from the 16 local government areas of the state will decide the fate of the aspirants. 2 of the aspirants, Segun Oni and Dr. Kayode Fayemi, were former governors, while some have in one time or the other vied for the slot in the past.
This election is very key to us, and we are trying to have a credible election at the primary level, which will translate to general election.
The 5-member electoral committee set up by the national body, headed by Governor of Nasarawa State, Umaru Tanko Amakura, had held meeting with members of the state executive of the party, while similar meeting was held with the aspirants.
If you are privy to the contributions by the aspirants themselves, you will know that our party has committed people in this state.
We fashion out all necessary ways of making the something to be peaceful and successful.
From Ado-Ekiti, Ayodeji Ogunshaki, NTA News.
And away from that, former Nigerian head of state, General Yakubu Gowon, has advised northern leaders to harmonize all socio-cultural organizations in the region in order to have a stronger voice on national issues. Ahmed Ondas Ahmed reports that General Gowon was speaking while playing host to the officials of Northern Leaders and Stakeholders Assembly in Abuja.
The new forum is made up of political associates drawn from the 19 northern states of the country. The chairman of the assembly, former National Assembly liaison officer to the Second Republic President Shehu Shagari, Tanko Yakasi, says the organization is formed to unite the people of the region as well as to serve as an advisory body to Nigerian leaders for the good of the country.
The objective is to promote unity and understanding in the North.
For the former head of state, General Yakubu Gowon, under whose watch Nigeria survived a civil war, advised the group not to polarize the North, but to remain united for the interests of national development.
The question of unity of people from the North, very, very, very important.
The assembly is built to undertake a tour of all states in the region to meet traditional and opinion leaders. In Abuja, Ahmed Ondas Ahmed, NTA News.
Youths from across the country at a forum in Abuja engaged in intellectual dialogue on the need for youth inclusion in politics and governance. Well, this is with a view to grooming a generation of youths who will take up the mantle of leadership in the future. Timothy Yusuf tells us more.
The youth hampered on the imperative for Nigeria to evolve a development agenda through legislation and deliberate capacity building for youths, which will come as a platform with the right qualities to take over leadership positions in the country. It is globally established that there is a huge gap of leaders between ages 24 and 40. The case is not different in Nigeria, in spite of intensified campaigns for youth participation in governance, like the Not Too Young to Run campaign. While canvassing for the creation of leadership institutions that will adequately groom young Nigerians to take over in the future, members of the Evergreen Initiative emphasized that the youth, on their part, must show enthusiasm for leadership.
We need people that have capacity to be involved. So then we started human capital development. We organized training, sensitization programs, and all, which all hover around our main scope, which is leadership and governance.
The youth should change the narrative about politics and governance.
Panelists advised experienced leaders to mentor the youth for smooth transition.
The youth should just be responsible. We must talk as young people, and we must talk sincerely to ourselves.
It's all about starting from sensitization, letting young people know that we belong in a particular place.
The dialogue also examined the need to urgently empower and constructively develop the youths if they must emerge as the true leaders of tomorrow. In Abuja, Timothy Yusuf, NTA News.
The federal government says it is working at all levels to ensure that Nigerian youth become successful, self-reliant leaders capable of leading the nation to greatness. Senior Special Assistant to the President on Political Matters, Gideon Samani, stated this when he met with members of APC for Buhari Oshibajo nationwide in Abuja. The group pledged support for the Buhari Oshibajo re-election. Meanwhile, the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, has commended an initiative by the Nigerian police force aimed at reducing juvenile crimes and promoting peace in communities. The initiative is in collaboration with the Center for Family Peace Initiative and is expected to target an estimated 20 million Nigerian youths. The delegation was received by the Permanent Secretary, General Services Office of the SGF, Mr. Olusegun Adekunle. And to health matters now, the United States is to collaborate with Nigeria in conducting a national AIDS indicator impact survey that will provide key information to guide the government in planning and developing more effective programs to control HIV and hepatitis in Nigeria. Basi Ita-Ikpan reports that the survey will be implemented through state ministries of health and state AIDS control agencies.
The survey, which will commence June 2018, will determine the treatment plan for HIV and hepatitis B and C in the country's population. It will assess the uptake of HIV services to the people and estimates the prevalence of HIV-related risk behavior in the 36 states of the Federation and the FCT.
And we think that with the data from this, the government in Nigeria will really be able to efficiently allocate resources and really maximize its efforts to control the epidemic of HIV in Nigeria.
Nigeria is many countries in one. We have to know that. We have to be able to know the prevalence of HIV, how many people in Nigeria are truly living with HIV.
170,000 people will be tested, and those positive will be placed on treatment.
This is the largest survey so far in the world. And Nigeria, because of our population, complexity, and diversity, we need to know our epidemics so that we can deploy appropriate resources to the appropriate sector.
Nigeria will be the 12th country doing this survey. We're doing it with partners. So the government of Nigeria is represented by the National Agency for the Control of AIDS and the Federal Ministry of Health.
The survey is expected to last for 6 months. Basi Ita-Ikpan, NTA News.
And it's time now to join Michael in Lagos for more reports. Hello, Michael.
Thank you, Vivian, and a warm welcome to Lagos. Collaboration between government and the media has been identified as key to ensuring proper education of the citizenry on government activities and the current political process. This was part of deliberations at the 69th General Assembly of the Broadcasting Organizations of Nigeria, BAN, held in Lagos. Thomas Ogbetewe has details.
The 9th General Assembly of the Broadcasting Organization of Nigeria, BAN, was an avenue for stakeholders to appraise how they have fared in the discharge of their duties with a view to charting a new course geared towards achieving the rules and code of practice, which include balance, objectivity, and professionalism. They emphasize that as Nigeria steps into another critical time in its political history, broadcasters must play their roles towards promoting national unity. Chairman of Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, Professor Mahmood Yakubu, while addressing the assembly, admonished the media to always be professional and patriotic. They identified his speech as a great threat to national cohesion, especially with the growing influence of the social media.
We want to see the role of some of the media in subverting the process and the ugly consequences. We only need to remind ourselves of Rwanda 1994 and Kenya 2007.
Role in shaping public opinion continues to be of paramount importance. We cannot also overstate our obligations as broadcasters, either in the moral or in the constitutional sense.
The Lagos State Governor, who was represented by his deputy, Dr. Idiat Adebole, said the importance of the media in the current political process cannot be overemphasized.
As a government, we know the importance of the media, and we cautiously cultivate and nurture a robust partnership.
In Lagos, Thomas Ogbetere, NTA News.
The government of Benin Republic has pledged its unalloyed support to the federal government of Nigeria in its policies towards checkmating illegal smuggling of goods from the country to Nigeria. President of the Republic of Benin, Patrick Talon, gave the assurance at the presentation of letter of credence by the Nigerian ambassador to Benin, Kayode Oguntuashi. Doyin Dia reports.
President Patrick Talon of Benin Republic received a letter of credence from Nigerian ambassador to his country, Kayode Oguntuashi, who extended warm greetings from Nigeria's President Muhammadu Buhari. President Talon, who spoke in French, noted the geostrategic importance of both countries, stressing that Nigeria, being a frontier in the ECOWAS region, has played a significant role towards facilitating and promoting trades and investment in the region. With about 7 trillion naira being lost annually by Nigeria to smuggling, the renewed diplomatic partnership, stakeholders say, will have multiplier effect on Nigeria's economy.
The level of campaign which the government at home is mounting. So it's another important collaboration between our two countries.
It will help us a lot to at least reduce to the minimum this smuggling issue.
Doing Dia, NTA News.
You're still watching NTA Network News. More reports are aired after this timeout. Please stay with us.
Brought us as usual.
As usual. You have no problem.
For the three put
You are welcome, sir.
as usual, yeah? I was...
You take that one. You take that one.
You don't understand? We want Nigerian homegrown rice. Finish. You don't have? You don't have?
Join the rice revolution today.
No other rice that tastes like Nigerian rice. Are you sorry? That's the Nigerian rice we are talking about. Chocolate made in Nigerian rice. Healthy food. I'm going to bring Mrs. to come to chocolate rice of made in Nigeria here. And see how it are made. Correct. And how they are cook it. Correct. Homegrown rice are good for your health. It boosts our economy and give employment to our people.
This message is brought to you by the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
All TVs say picture quality, but never mention the most important color, black. It uncovers the hidden details of nature, brings out the richness in all colors, and reveals life. With self-lighting pixels, only OLED TVs make perfect black, and perfect black creates perfect color. LG OLED TV.
When you hear that sound, you know that Nigeria's most authentic newscast is about to begin. NTA Network News, breaking the news for over 40 years.
Welcome back to Abuja. The Central Bank of Nigeria injects $349 million in retail secondary market intervention. For this and more on Business News with Amina Nujem.
The Federal
federal government says the completion of the Azura-Edo integrated power project will add 450 megawatts to the national grid. The Minister of Power Works and Housing, Babatunde Fashola, who said this, noted that the Azura had notified him on the completion of its plant and its readiness to commence operation. He said with this positive development, 450 megawatts of electricity is expected to be transmitted to the national grid any moment from now. And in other news, the Ministry of Budget and National Planning is deepening the understanding of relevant persons and bodies on the implementation of the Economic Recovery and Growth Plan ERGP. The specialized training program on building core skills of planners for effective implementation of the ERGP commenced in Nasarawa State with the Permanent Secretary to the Ministry, Mr. Olajide Odewale, noted that the problem of the country has not been lack of development plans, but that of a failure of implementation. The equities market on the floor of the Nigerian Stock Exchange made a rebound Friday to end the day's session in the green, but however, recorded marginal losses for the week. The OSHA index closed the day at 41,218.72 basis points. 283 million equities valued at 4.225 billion naira swapped hands in 4,187 deals. Access Bank, C&I Leasing and Sterling Bank dominated activities during the day. International bureaus gained the most and was followed by C&I Leasing and Veritas Capital. Mobil shared 4.95% to lead the losers table and was followed by Champs PLC and Continental Reassurance. And that wraps up business news. The news continues shortly.
Moving on now, First City Monument Bank, FCMB, one of the leading commercial banks in the country, has rolled out a package for prospective passengers of Etihad Airlines at a discount as part of special travel offers. This is part of the bank's commitment to creating opportunities while providing quick and efficient services in line with the agreement with Etihad. Mohammed Rabiu Ali completes the report.
Under the FCMB and Etihad Airways discounted travel package partnership, customers of FCMB will have the opportunity to purchase Etihad ticket with ease for their business, leisure, medical, and pilgrimage. It is a milestone to deliver the highest level of service, satisfaction, and affordability to customers and air travelers. At the launch of the partnership, the regional head, Abuja and North, Lukman Mustafa, assured customers of continued delivery not only in banking sector, but in global aviation industry.
We are entering into this partnership with Etihad so as to be able to offer our teaming customers, both existing and potential customers, highly discounted fares.
The General Manager, Africa Etihad Airways, George Mawadri, urged Nigerians, especially people of Kano, to take advantage of the opportunities offered by FCMB to further add value to aviation industry.
We are not just terminating our flight operation at Abu Dhabi. From Abu Dhabi, we cover Europe, Asia, China, and other parts of the world.
It's a welcome development. Etihad is very good flight.
FCMB is an inclusive lender with a strong retail franchise, reliable and helpful financial institution with exceptional services. From Kano, Muhammad Rabi, NTA News.
And moving on now, the Group Managing Director, Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, Dr. Maikanti Baru, says the long-cherished dream of transforming Nigeria from a net exporter of crude oil to a net exporter of petroleum products would, in the months ahead, transform into a reality. He said this at the Offshore Technology Conference 2018 in Houston, Texas, United States.
You will definitely find their imprints in most achievements we have recorded so far. I urge you not to sit on the fence, but join us to make our industry even greater.
The corporation, Dr. Baru added, is working towards actualizing the December 2019 target set by the federal government to end the importation of petroleum products into the country. High point of the event was the investiture of Petan Award of Exemplary Leadership on Dr. Baru for his commitment to the growth of local companies in the industry. And going over now to our Port Harcourt studio where Diba Bari is standing by. Take it away, Diba.
And welcome to Port Harcourt. Minister of Transportation and leader of APC in River State says the state party ESCO is intact and set to conduct the APC World Congresses with respect to internal democracy and guidelines. Amechi spoke to newsmen at the Port Harcourt International Airport, Omagwa, shortly on arrival from Abuja. Kingsley Amaji reports.
The APC is set to hold its World Congresses across the Federation, where new sets of party executives are to be elected at the world level. Ahead of that election, Minister of Transportation said internal party democracy would play out, stressing that there will be no attempt at harmonization.
You know, the argument some people have put forward is that there is no internal democracy in APC. So let's do that internal democracy once and for all. There is no, there will be no attempt at harmonization, nothing else, because all interests must be covered. The only way you can express that interest is by voting.
Reacting to the perceived discord among APC chieftains in the state, Amechi said it is an issue of personal difference over the 2019 governorship candidate, saying that the party is not divided as being insinuated.
You must separate personal disagreements from party disagreement. Okay, what they say is the quarrel? That one man says he wants to be governor, so another man says, no, I can't support you. Is that the quarrel? So when people say quarrel in APC, you should ask, is the chairman quarreling with the party structure? Is there a quarrel in the whole of the party? You need to put that together.
Meanwhile, the Minister of Transportation said the Federal Executive Council has set up a committee headed by the Vice President to visit the state over the incidents of black suits in Port Harcourt. Kingsley Amajiri, NTA News.
The Nigerian Army 6th Division Port Harcourt has held a one-day seminar to train junior commanders for effective counter-terrorism and insurgency operations. This comes as the Director General Nigerian Army Resource Center, Major General Johnny Hamakin, tasked participants to maximize the benefits of the training towards effective service delivery. Again, Kingsley Amajiri reports.
The objective is in line with the Chief of Army Staff vision to reposition the Nigerian Army for professionalism. Key to drive the objective is the need for effective regimentation and leadership in the Nigerian Army. General Hamakim said the junior commanders must understand the essence of leadership, situating their roles between their superiors and subordinates for efficient results. The General Officer commanding 6th Division, Major General Musa Yusuf, said, given the key roles of the junior commanders in tactical operations, they are strategic in military operations, urging them to take advantage of the training for enhanced military operations. High point of the event was a lecture on the role of junior commanders in building better Nigerian Army for effective counter-terrorism and counter-insurgency, presented by Lieutenant Colonel I.B. Buhari in Port Harcourt. Kingsley Amajiri, NTA News.
And that does it from Port Harcourt. It's back to Ogwa for the rest of the news. Good evening.
Thank you, Diba. The Nigerian Army is to deploy more troops and logistics to Benue and Taraba states. The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tuku Buratai, gave the directive while on an operational visit. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa has details.
The Nigerian Army's leadership is in parts of Benue and Taraba states to review the security situation following cases of attack by militias. In Benue, the Chief of Army Staff interacted with troops and the people of Anyim, Anyebe and Trevule in local government area, where he enjoined troops to be vigilant and ensure professional conduct during operations.
The terrain is one major challenge,
and even the troop deployment. So we need to see them so that we can address these challenges, especially the issue of mobility, the issue of additional troops, and then the issue of communication, and even the additional weapons.
From Benue State, the team moved to Taraba State. This rocky and mountainous terrain in Takum in Taraba State, rich in mineral deposit, is a great national asset, but also a safe haven for criminals. Settlements around the Kashimbila Dam was among the trouble spots visited by the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tuku Buratai.
There's a lot of challenges from what we see from cross-border between the Cameroons and Nigeria, and if security is not properly checked here, it's going to affect this whole facility we're seeing. Like you're saying, it's a major facility, it requires a lot of protection, and we're here to at least to assess and see what kind of security measures we have to put in place to be able to forestall any form of threat that comes around it.
Addressing troops at the headquarters 93 Infantry Battalion, General Buratai directed troops to maintain neutrality and promote civil-military relations. While in Kashimbila, the Army Chief led officers and soldiers in the monthly physical training exercise. From Taraba State, Ismail Musa, NTA News.
This is NTA Network News. Still to come, sports and weather. Don't go away.
Experience, they say, is the best teacher.
They hold us from the sea. Thank God that we came back home. They should not go there because it's not good. It's a very bad place. So they just my advice. Even now, so if they are shooting the boat they are going to use to go Italy, may they stop it. Our country is good. Our country is a blessed country. Now I know our country is a blessed country. I know before I for not travel from Nigeria to Libya. I know how much I spent.
Let these personal experiences serve as a lesson to all who would repeat their mistakes. A word is enough for the wise.
This is a public service announcement brought to you by NTA.
United Nations has issued warning against food security across Africa's Sahel's region. Details of this and more on the foreign scene with Ado Adamu also.
Thank you and a warm welcome. We start from Africa, where 3 United Nations agencies have warned that drought, conflict and high food prices will drive millions of people in West Africa's Sahel region into malnutrition and food insecurity without immediate action. More than 1.6 million children are at the risk of severe acute malnutrition this year, 50% more than in the Sahel's last major crisis in 2002, the agency said at a press conference. Still in Africa, the Chadian government has resigned 3 days after the passing of a new constitution designed to strengthen the rule of long-time President Idriss Déby. Government spokesman Jean-Bernard Padare said Prime Minister Pahimi Albert and his cabinet will remain in office until a new government is named. To the U.S. now, Mount Cleo volcano has erupted in Hawaii near a residential area in the largest island, prompting a local state of emergency and the mandatory evacuation of 1,700 local residents. The eruption follows a series of strong earthquakes over recent days. A volcanic crate vent known as Po'o collapsed earlier this week, sending lava down the mountain slopes towards populated areas. And that is it from here. The news continues.
And now sports. Nigeria Volleyball Federation begins preparations for African Youth Games qualifiers as Olympic Marseille and Atletico Madrid set up Europa League final May 16th. Ayodeji Makinde brings us details on Sports Update.